Hello and welcome to Strategic Gaming. My name is Mac Taylor. With me today, hopefully we'll get Jada soon, but we have Chris Wilkinson. How's it going, Chris?
It's great. Glad to be here.
Got a lot of BB2. This is our last, technically not including the Bunky podcast because that's kind of a special thing, but this is our last Big Brother 2 coverage. After today, we will be done with Big Brother 2 and moving into onto Survivor Borneo. Uh, really excited to do that, but we had a lot to get through, so we can go ahead and just go right on in. So at the start of episode 26, Nicole is very, very mad per usual because she in same kind of routine. She trusted Will, bad idea. Now her and Hardy are on the block. One of them's gonna go, and Will gets to be the one to say who stays in, who goes. And he's super happy about it. Hardy is like really pissed. Like he's like saying like, "Well, I better not see Will outside of here." Things like that. Being a real dick. Uh, but Will, he's still trying to keep Nicole in good graces because I think he knows in his heart of hearts what he's gonna do, and he doesn't want to burn the bridge with Nicole. He wants to keep it steady enough at these last couple of parts of the game. So then we get some banner stuff, and the backyard turned into this little winter wonderland. And of course, Nicole is upset because she hates it life, I guess, because she's like, "Oh, I don't like snow," and they killed a bear, and like they didn't kill a bear, they just bought this stuffed bear. And Will gets behind it, of course, and starts talking to Nicole through the bear because that's what Will does. Then we get to the main point of this episode. It makes this episode very, very interesting, very unique. We get Survivor players coming into the house to compete against the Big Brother players, like for show dominance. We get Suhawk and Jervis Peterson from Borneo, and Alicia Calloway and Jeff Varner from Australia. But just because they made it onto this thing does not mean they did well in their season. Doesn't mean they did bad in their season. Doesn't really have any indication because I think there's a mix across the board in how these people actually did in their particular season of Survivor. But it's fun that they picked these individual people because they pick Alicia, who's kind of like the female version of Hardy in a casting sense. She's the bodybuilder. You know, she's the dominant physical presence. So she immediately clicks with Hardy. And then we get I want to say Sue and Nicole are very similar. So they're both loud, they're both alpha females, they're both uh aggressive in their gameplay, and they're both they both have one person on their season they particularly don't like but they work with. So it's interesting that they have Sue in there. They have Jervis and Varner, who I think are both parts of Will. I don't think anybody's like Monica. I think Monica's the only unique presence. Because Jervis is very cocky. He can be a little arrogant at times, and he's very relaxed and laid back. So that's part of Will. And then we get Jeff Varner, who's very manipulative, very, very vindictive, and very strategic. The other side of Will, the darker side of Will. So, uh, Chris, thoughts on the Survivor players entering the house? What are your impressions? Jervis is on your Borneo team.
Yeah,
Does this make
I was shocked. I mean, it made me feel good until you said it has nothing to do with their place in the show. But I mean, either way, I mean, it was cool to see one of my players before I started watching Survivor Borneo, and I mean, I was excited to see him in my house. I was not ready for that. I didn't see it coming.
and for Alicia and Jeff, when we do Australia draft picks, are Alicia and Jeff kind of warming up to you now? Are they going to be people you might pick?
I mean, it could have an influence into my decision, But overall, I mean, I always based my picks on certain traits that I think would further somebody in the game.
And so they compete in this competition and they have to like build the blocks to spell out their show, Survivor or Big Brother, which Big Brother has one more letter than Survivor, but all in all, pretty close. And then, I mean, it's neck and neck pretty much this whole time, but we get Jeff grabbing other blocks, throwing them in the pool, and knocking them around, showing Jeff's gameplay and how Jeff tries to go about uh, competition. And then it looks like the Big Brother people are gonna pull ahead, but Monica just cannot do the ice water. She can't like get below it. She can't get her face in it. And the Survivor people can, and they get it done, and they win 15 grand each. Uh, Thoughts on the competition? Were there things that you were like that maybe said something about the Survivor players, or said something about the Big Brother players?
Oh yeah, I mean, just the way the Survivor players played in the competition, I mean, they were absolutely ruthless, and you start to think that the players in the Big Brother house are ruthless because of their emotional attacks at people, but the Survivor players just they're aggressive in a physical way, and that was kind of I mean, it was fun to see, and it gave me great ideas about how these people are going to play in their season.
And then so they're going to spend one day with these Survivor people, and really, and this is something that I think is probably very evident. The final four have been in the house with each other for 60 something days, 60 something odd days. It's a long time to see those particular people. And just to see anybody else's face is absolutely wonderful. And
Oh
they get
yeah.
to have interact with someone who aren't these people they're stuck in this house with all the time. And it's funny that the people who I think they're most like they gravitated toward, like Sue and Nicole, like really gravitated toward each other. Hardy and Alicia gravitated toward each other. Will and Jervis were in the kitchen just laughing about how Will is able to make it so far. Jervis, Jervis is like, "How the hell are you still in here?" And he's like, "Man, I've just been lying my ass off." And then Jervis is like, "Yeah, fuck these people." And then Jeff's trying to stir up some drama. He's trying to talk to people and be like, "Wow." He's like, "I came in here thinking one person was going to win, and now I'm pretty sure someone else is going to win." And everyone's like, "Ooh, oh," and typical Varner. Um, Hardy wins this fan site challenge, so he's going to see the Hardy fan page. Thoughts on that, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was just cool. I mean, of course, Hardy was going to be people's favorite, even though he is Darth Hardy now. People are still going to want to try and like him, and it might gravitate more people to his persona that he portrays in the game.
So then we get Hardy and Nicole get to have their last plea to why they should stay in the game. And they both choose to, they say, "I'm not going to address Will." And they proceed to talk about people back home. Thoughts on that? Because I'll get to my thoughts on it in a second, but just what are your thoughts on the choice to not talk to Will and to say you're not going to talk to Will, the sole vote?
Yeah, I mean, they want to appear like they're not going to campaign against one another because they deem that as betrayal, even though they're in the game to win it. And either way, one of them is going to stab the other in the back, and they just don't want to believe that yet. So they want to talk to the people they love at home instead of stab somebody they love in the back. And it could be real, it could be fake, but it's the Big Brother house, so you still never know.
And then so that ends the episode, and we go on to episode 27, where Monica like, you know what? I'm glad Will gets to take this shot because, you know, Will's been the only person I think has been 100% honest in his house. And she's like, and they get like, it's so fitting that the people who talk about how shitty of a person Will is, but yet take him this far, and now he is the one who's gonna take one of them out. For Monica, that's justice. That's the thing she wanted to see the most. Uh, and Will is contemplating between the two. He's saying, well, Hardy evicted Shannon. I said I was going to get Hardy out of this house. Also, he is a very physical player. Whereas Nicole, I trust her more. I like her probably a little more, and I would rather go farther with her. But she is probably has more friends in the jury than Hardy does. So where do I go, Chris? What do you think the choice you would make would be?
I mean, you have to look at it
Yeah.
at this point at from a competitive aspect. And in my eyes, I would deem Hardy a bigger physical threat, but maybe Nicole more of a mental threat. But I'm still, in my eyes, I would evict Hardy because he's more physically dominant, and again, he did evict Shannon. So
Then they just kind of talk about Monica, how she's, at least in her eyes, started as what I would say would be the OG floater. Monica just was Monica. She watched the fireworks happen and nobody targeted her because she wasn't in the spotlight. And now, you know, she had the whole it's on thing when she was up against Krista. And now she's HOH, the person they never thought could win one. She's usually in last in a lot of these comps. She won it because she wanted it. And now she gets to do what she's wanted to do and take out the power duo. Let's see here. Then they recap. We get this stupid recap of Nicole and Hardy's friendship in the house, and it's just kind of like, well, okay, that's whatever. Uh, and basically Julie talks to Will, and she's like, "Hey, do you want to cast your vote in private, or do you want to cast your vote in front of them?" He's like, "I ain't got nothing to hide." And this kind of starts the precedent. The final four vote is always in front of the nominee. So Will is technically the first person to. He got a choice, and he's like, "Yeah, I'd like to just go tell him." And that starts that precedent. Now that happens. That's a thing. Is it's the final four and you're safe, you cast your vote in front of them. You don't do it in a room. So he goes out there and he's like, explains why he would vote out either one, cast his vote for Hardy. So it's kind of just too, because Hardy said, I want to look Will in the face and say, you're out of here because you're evil and Chris is going to win, and blah, blah, blah. And now Will's turning to Hardy and saying, no, you're out because of what you did to me. And sorry. Uh, so Hardy says like he feels good, but he regrets keeping Will. You know, Will was the downfall of his game. Last thoughts on Darth Hardy, Chris.
yeah, I mean, he said it all in and on his way out. I mean, he shouldn't have left Will in the game, and that's what ended up screwing him. So, I mean, you really can't say much more than that. If he would have stuck to his plan and got Chilltown out of the house, Hardy probably could have ended up in the final three, but he didn't. So he's not there. It was expected.
Then they play part one of the HOH, and Will ends up coming out ahead in points, which is rare that you see Will doing well in a competition. Even
Ooh.
so, part the 28, episode 28, Will and Monica, they're pretty happy with Hardy going, but Will immediately goes to Nicole and like, we're good for final two, right? She's like, unfortunately, I don't like you, but that's probably my best option. Uh, but then Nicole goes to Monica and like, so us in the final too. So Nicole is probably acknowledging she's going to take Will, but she wants Monica to take her, not Will. So she's trying to get Monica to be like, well, if you win HOH, you're going to take me, right? Which I honestly think Monica would not take Nicole because she hates her. Like Monica doesn't say it outright, but I don't think she has no respect for Nicole, and I don't think she likes her as a person. And with Monica, it's all about how she feels about you. And she respects Will. She has a lot of respect for Will. So I think she would bring Will to the end over Nicole. Do you think that?
Oh yeah, I absolutely do.
So then we get the luxury food comp where they have to put everything in these baskets and like hold them above their hips, below their lips. That's what the competition's called. Uh, for 90 seconds to get what's in the baskets. Um, Chris, you've lifted weights. That's a pretty hard thing to hold weights out like this.
Yes. Yes, it
You're an
is.
extent.
It's a lot harder than a lot of people think.
And like some of these things in her baskets are like electronics. They're heavy, essentially, when you're holding them out. Uh, do you think you could have done this? Do you think well? Do you think you could have got a lot of things out of this?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Given 60 days in the Big Brother house, I could probably do even more. But yeah, I mean, it is a difficult comp in very many ways. I mean, it tests your endurance and your strength and your will. But I mean, I feel like if you're in the Big Brother house, you're in there to win, and you have to have a strong will, and that's what's going to get you through. So,
And then Nicole has talked all competition. She wants to get a portable DVD player for her husband as like a I'm sorry for being gone. And who gets the portable DVD player? Will. And he's not giving it to her either. He's like, nope, this is mine. But he is having fun with that metal detector going around going, metal, not metal, metal, not metal.
yeah.
So, classic television stuff. Nicole's pissed. She's classic Nicole losing something. And really at this point, she's for the past probably like 3 or 4 weeks, it's been nothing but just negative vibes from Nicole. She's not fun to watch. She's just draining the energy out of it. Thoughts on Nicole's negativity?
Okay, you want me to talk about Nicole's negativity? I never thought this would happen. I'm so happy. Okay, I do believe that it has grown stronger in the last couple episodes, but I feel like it has always been there. Absolutely. I mean, there's always been tension with her and the house. I mean, it almost feels like they want to like her, but her demeanor just makes her unlikable, almost as a different version of Will in a completely different sense. She's a female Will,
I think a less likable.
a less likable female Will. She's not fun, she's mean.
And then Nicole and Monica get into this conversation about race. And then Nicole's like, well, what do you think about that? And he's like, nope, not in this. Absolutely not touching that.
He
And
can't hide now.
like, but that was 100% accurate. I would have done the same thing. I'd have been like, no, do not talk to me right now.
I'm clean.
I am not in this. Because first of all, there was no need for this conversation. But I think Will described it justly. And they were gonna fight. They both wanted to argue with each other. They didn't have anything to argue about until Monica found something. Because I think that they've just had this thing where they don't like each other, and it was festering, and it was about something had to happen. Then we get the table shrunk. They started out with this big, huge table that had to seat 11 people. Then it went down to a table I think that sat 6 people, and then to a table now that sits 3 people. So not only is the house is getting emptier, beds, the blue room don't have beds in it anymore. The table is smaller, and now all they have to see is each other. It's just Monica, Will, and Nicole. That's it. What do you think life would be like living with these couple people for up to 70 days they're going toward now? And like just what the environment goes from 11 people to 3 people. Talk about how you think the mentality of that would be.
Yeah, I mean, it almost is a family mentality when you live in that combined of a space with that many people for so long. I mean, you have nothing else to do but to get to know them. and to see them every second of every day. And eventually you are going to bond with these people, but in the same sense, you're always going to have something you hate about certain people and you just can't stand. I mean, it's just like in families. There's always going to be family members who don't like each other, who have certain things they don't like. It's That's just how it's going to be.
So then, basically, America voted for one house guest to go on internet chat. They voted for Will. Will goes on the internet chat, and it basically explains his diabolical ways, I guess is what the way to describe it. Uh, then basically they talk about this HOH is the most powerful HOH, essentially, because you're going to make the decision to take one of two people to the finals, and it could be a $500,000 mistake if you get it wrong. Because I think in a lot of these uh, shows, we can look at someone who could bring someone in the end, and either that was the absolute correct decision and they win the money because of it, or it was the absolute wrong decision and they lose to that person. And I couldn't imagine taking someone to the end and then losing to that person because you're like, oh, if I would have picked the other person, would I have won? It's a big decision. It's a big power to have. Uh, but Nicole and Will, they're still like, final two, me and you, we got this. Uh, for the second head of household, they had to go do all these things that they've been doing all season. So they had to go like make toast because the whole toaster thing, towels, uh, balls out of the pool, window washing, peanut butter and jelly, all that stuff. And Nicole and will compete in the final part. So Monica, no chance of being final HOH, and that's a big hit for Monica. What do you think's running through Monica's head?
I mean, she's absolutely afraid. I mean, she has to trust her life in the hands of two other players who are completely ruthless and, I mean, in a way, do not show emotion to other players in the game, and they're just non-empathetic. And she's afraid, and she probably should be.
Then for episode 29, we find out 9/11 happens. Um, and everybody has that thing of like, where were you at during 9/11? Like, where were you at? What were you doing? You know? And for these people, they were in a reality show playing Big Brother, cut off from the outside world, having no idea what was happening until later they were told. I think probably like the next day, like when everything was collectively figured out. But what do you? How? I don't even know. I have not asked this, but like, how do you? What mindset is it? Like, such a terrible national event happens, and you're playing a game. Like, thoughts on it? Just give me your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly could not begin to understand what that was like. I mean, I was barely over 1 year old when 9/11 happened. And to see this happen in a show and just be like, wow, yeah, these people were playing a game and their life was like just they were enjoying themselves and they were having fun and they don't even hear about a massive terror attack that took a lot of lives and it was incredibly emotional. And I mean, just to not know and for them to tell them was an absolute, I mean, it was a gift and those players earned it and they had a right to know. It was a national travesty.
Especially since Monica's cousin was missing during all that. We never did find
Yes.
out if she was ever found or anything, but I don't know. I'd say signs point to no because we never found, never said that. I think they would have said something. Um, then we get kind of like a catch up game with the rest, with the evictees, with the people who were evicted from the shows. The first we've heard from them since their eviction. So, Boogie, he was on a television show and, he's still running his bar. And Shannon, she's trying to pick between Will and Jim, but it's pretty clear on where she wants to go. Autumn got engaged and started working out and doing more with her singing career. Cheryl found out she had breast cancer and is dealing with that. So, just thoughts on catching up with this set of evicted house guests.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like it did what it was meant to in pleasing the audience, in them seeing the the house guest of Big Brother outside after the experience just to see how it changed their lives. And in none of the catch ups did we see that it negatively affected any player. And I mean, it truly helped Cheryl. I mean, to be diagnosed with breast cancer is it's tragic.
So then we see Nicole and Will both saying they want to throw the last HOH. They don't want it, but one of them has to win. Chris, if you're in this position, are you trying to win the final HOH or are you trying to throw the final HOH?
Oh, I'm trying to win. Are you crazy? Like, I know Will has been throwing HOHs since he's been in the house, but even Will cannot seriously have the balls to throw the last HOH and put himself in Nicole's hands and just just trust her like that. I mean, you can't trust anybody in the Big Brother house. They're there to win, just like you're there to win. He said he was there to win. If he wins this HOH, he goes to the final two, and he is guaranteed money.
Well, I think Will's thought process is Monica, Nicole, either person is going to take him, but his best chance of winning is Nicole taking him. If he takes Nicole, she could say, "Well, I wouldn't have done that," or "I'm not the reason he's still here." And but if she takes Will, she cannot say, "I did everything to get Will out of the house," because she's
Yeah,
had multiple opportunities and has decided to work with Will, not against Will. So he wanted to make her look as bad as possible, and she knew
yeah,
this and still proceeded to try to win the last situation. Then we catch up with the rest of the evictees. So Kent, he quit smoking. Hardy spends time with his girlfriend and his motorcycle. And Krista, she's kind of looking to do something, be famous for something. I don't really know what skill set, but she's looking for something. And Cheryl, or sorry, not Cheryl, Bunky, he gets like fan mail and all sorts of other things. And he's just, enjoying his time outside of the house as well. Thoughts on the second set of evictees and what they're up to? Go.
yeah. I mean, it was great to hear from him. I'm not surprised that Hardy's hanging out with his girlfriend and riding bikes. Um, Bunky, it was great to see him getting fans and being supported and just enjoying life. I was happy to see Krista and the fact that she wants to be famous is interesting because I have that same want, and I would like to see if she ever did anything about that. But I mean, yeah, I mean, overall, it was great to see what the house guests did with their time outside.
Then they play the final HOH, and Nicole ends up winning the last HOH competition, and she decides she's going to evict Monica. She's taking the evil doctor to the final two. Give me your thoughts, Chris. You're shaking your head.
I mean, girl, you said it from day one. I mean, after you got put up on the block, you said you were going to take Chilltown out of the game. And yet, at your very last chance, you take a member, not just any member, but the leader of Chilltown, the most diabolical player, to the final two. The guy who has said from day one he will lie, steal, and cheat to get to the end. And you want to take him instead of Monica, who did nothing to get there. I mean,
Yeah.
She won later in the game when she needed to.
So Monica says, like, yeah, I know. I knew when I didn't win the last HOH, I was doomed to be third place. But I'm here and I did much better than I thought I was going to. I won when I thought it was necessary to win. Needed this one, didn't get it. That's how it is. She's like, Nicole spilling a lot of bullshit. Will, she's like, basically said straight up, I respect Will. Will's a bad dude, but Will says he's a bad dude, and I respect that. She's like, Nicole says she's this righteous person, but she's fucking lied this whole time in this game. And even during their goodbye messages,
Yeah.
she rolled her eyes during Nicole's, and then with Will, she's like, I love you. I'll see you after the show. So she was not having any Nicole.
Yes.
Uh, Go ahead. You want to talk about that? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Monica completely embodies my opinions on both remaining members in the house. I mean, just I roll for Nicole and Will, you're evil, but you're awesome because you're honestly evil.
Then we go to the finale where Krista calls Hardy out. She's like, "Hey, what the fuck happened with your game? Because you, you said we were gonna do all these things and you lied. You straight up lied to all of us." And he's like, "Well, I said some things, but that's just because there were things happening that I thought people lied to me." And they were like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." Then Bunky's like, Shannon's like, well, Bunky, I was disappointed in you because you said some shit about me. And he's like, you weren't even nice. I said shit about you because you were generally mean all the time. So this jury is honest. They're at each other, and they're not even in the game anymore. Boogie apologizes to Cheryl for her eviction. Uh, Generally, probably the only person that everybody there likes 100% is Cheryl. But they do give credit to Nicole's game. They said she did play a strategic game. She did do a good job. It's just she lied when she didn't need to. She lied unnecessarily and made it personal when it didn't need to be personal. So thoughts on the start of this jury? They're at each other. They're giving Nicole some credit, but they're also not happy. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, they sum up the game completely. I mean, she lied and she didn't need to lie. She said she was going to be nice and that people could trust her and confide in her. And yet she stabbed everyone in the back at every chance she got.
Yeah,
But
it was.
Will, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, but Will was at least honest about he was going to be lying and manipulative. But yeah, I mean, it they summed it up perfect. You can't use any better words.
Then for the jury questioning, it's just like it's been all season. Nicole is like, I was the hero. Week one, she's like, I couldn't be myself. I couldn't be 100% loyal because I tried that and you guys tried to vote me out in the first week. She's like, I had to change who I was to get far in this game, but I did not mean to hurt anybody. I did not lie, blah, blah, blah. And he did. And Will's like, yeah, I did all those things. Everything you're saying I did, I absolutely did. Did I talk shit about you in the DR? I absolutely did. I talked shit about all of you, minus like two of you in the DR. And I feel that I do not regret anything I did. I told you I was gonna lie, cheat, steal. I did that, and I'm here. And it's kind of your all's fault that I'm here. So I think their speeches outline their whole game. Uh, So they get the final speech. Nicole just cries, crocodile tears. And Will gives the speech about he basically tells them, if you don't vote me to win this game, it's not because you don't think I deserve to win this game. It's because you're not comfortable with yourself. Because you lost and I'm winning, and that upsets you, and you don't think I deserve it. That's the only reason. Because you know deep in your heart that I'm supposed to win this. Bold choice of words. Words I myself would not personally use, but you got to give him credit. He's right about probably most of it. I think some of them could vote for Nicole and justly do it. I don't think everybody had to vote for Will. I don't think that it's because they're insecurities. I think some people genuinely thought Nicole deserved to win the game or genuinely disliked Will enough to not give him that win. Thoughts on the final jury speeches?
Yeah, I mean, Will says it all about his game. He was gonna lie, cheat, and steal, but he was gonna tell you about it. And everything he said, but in the diary room, he would totally say to somebody's face, and you can believe that he would say it to their face because you've seen it. I mean, he wouldn't do it in the house, but he would do it anywhere else. And
I mean, he did call Nicole
Nicole,
a bitch.
yeah, but I mean, is he wrong though?
No,
Because
but
he will tell her. But yeah, I mean, Nicole, she cries to use sympathy and try and get votes, and she's covered her tracks the entire game. But anytime you see her in the diary room, she's saying something completely different than what she said 2 seconds ago. And she's chasing her tail and can't keep up with her lies. And Will just is better. Will's a better liar, but he's an honest better liar.
absolutely correct. Um, let's see here. The we get the Bunky Mania tour is what he called it. He's going to all these cities to raise money for charity, and great on Bunky. I am absolutely nothing wrong with that. That is very
Yeah.
honorable. Then batshit crazy out of nowhere, which is probably Big Brother 2 in a nutshell, is Boogie proposes to Krista on national television. And my favorite face was Shannon, who's like, "What the fuck?" Like she had no idea that shit was coming. And Monica's like, and then they're kissing, and she's like, oh, "Okay, that's enough. You can stop that now." Right next to me. Thoughts on the proposal?
I was shocked. I mean, what in the world possesses you to do such a thing? And I mean, yes, it puts a lot of pressure on your bride, well, hopeful bride, but it
They
puts
did
too
not get
much
married.
pressure on her. I mean, yeah, she has to say yes, and they did not get married because she had to say yes. She's on national television. You can't say no on national television. Everybody's gonna think you're a bitch.
The engagement was canceled. I don't want to say it wasn't immediately after the show, but it was.
Yeah, and she canceled it.
Did she? Is that
Yeah,
confirmed?
yeah, because I looked it up and everything. I was intrigued.
But I mean, balls. Boogie's got him.
Yeah,
That's a
chill
thing to
town.
do. And he has the chill town.
Yeah, they just they come prepared with the balls.
Yeah, both of them. Even when Boogie's not even in the game anymore, he's gonna drop bombs.
Yeah,
Uh, they get to eliminate one member of the jury's vote. Uh, Will eliminates Bunky, and then Bunky has to explain his vote. Bunky voted for Nicole, and he goes, "Will, I didn't vote for you for 3 reasons. One, you're not gonna use the money for charity in any way. Two, you're arrogant, you're pompous, you're an asshole. Three, I'm not going to let you do the whole reality bullshit speech on me and change my vote. I don't think you deserve to win. I think you're a terrible person, and this is why my vote falls the way it does." And I was like, "Oh shit!" Like that was no one expected that from Bunky. Uh, Thoughts on that?
yeah. I mean, I was ready for Bunky to just completely do this to somebody, and I was ready for it. Bunky just slaughters Will, and it's hilarious. I mean, I love Will. Will's probably one of my favorite Big Brother characters. If
out of the
I mean,
11 that you have so
yeah,
far.
I watched season one,
That's
but yeah,
true, but that's its own thing.
yeah, but I mean, he has every right to say what he said. Will said he was not going to use the money for charity. He wouldn't use it for charity. I mean, he might seem like a terrible person to Bunky in the light that was shown on him from this game, but you can see through the snippets of Will's real life that he is a genuine person, and it's just the way his brain works makes him seem animatronic in a way that his actions are portrayed to people.
So Nicole eliminates Shannon. That's pretty cut and dry. Uh, Everybody vote. Autumn voted for Nicole. Kent voted for Will. Boogie voted for Will. Cheryl also voted for Will. Hardy voted for Nicole. And both Krista and Monica voted Will. So 5-2. Dr. Will Kirby is the winner of Big Brother 2. Nicole, she said she's not surprised. She's fucking surprised. And she's mad that she went through all of that. She did all
Yeah.
that. And she lost to Will. She lost to Will. And that to her is the biggest slap in the face she could have got. Is the whole house at one point was there to get Will out. And he made it all the way to the end and won 5-2. It wasn't even 4-3. It was not that close. And I guess if you add all the numbers, it's 6-3 because Nicole did have Bunky's vote and Will had Shannon's, but still, that thoughts on the end result here we got with the winner and runner up.
Yeah, I mean, I was honestly shocked. I mean, Will's my character and I wanted him to win, but seriously, what happened here? I thought everybody hated Will, but I guess they just decided they wanted to respect the way he played his game, and that's what ultimately won him Big Brother. People respected his honesty about lying.
Okay. And then uh who I was gonna do this for everybody, but everybody's not on this podcast today, so we're gonna just do it for you. Give me the person that you thought played the worst game total in the season. We always do best game, worst game. I want the worst game of the season.
Ooh, the worst game. I actually might give you a dark horse on this one, who actually made it fairly far, but just overall played a fairly crappy game, and that would be Kent. I mean, I honestly felt like he just didn't know how to play the game, and that has nothing. I mean, nothing against him. I mean, I had no qualms with Kent's character in the game. It was just he didn't really have a strategy, and no strategy is not gonna work for you in the Big Brother house.
Okay. I
Eh,
think my choice for worst game is Autumn
yeah,
because there are, if you were to run Big Brother 2 100 times, Will winning is not the most probable outcome. But like most people, like Cheryl, I think would go far. And you put her into about any Big Brother season, I think Cheryl would do well. Kent could do well. He could do well. He kind of understands strategy. It's just he doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut. And Bunky would do well in other seasons. There's a lot. Even Hardy, if Hardy can just own the Darth Hardy thing, he'll go far. Autumn did nothing but whine and complain the whole time. I think in most seasons, Autumn is the first boot over someone like Cheryl because it's just no one wants. They voted her out. It wasn't even in their best interest to vote Autumn out, but they did it because they couldn't stand it and she couldn't handle the game. But I think overall, just for how Big Brother is as a whole, she's just not made for it. Okay, Chris, give me your best game. Who do you think played the best strategic game. BB2, go.
The best game strategically. I mean, he won. It's Dr. Will. You can't deny strategically there's nobody better than the evil doctor. And I mean, what do you want me to say? Who can manipulate people better than Will Kirby? I mean, I haven't watched for very long, but if there's somebody better than Will, they're going to win a lot of seasons of their show if they keep going on it. And I agreed with Autumn. She was probably like my second to last character. I just didn't feel Kent's age helped him in the game as well as Autumn's.
Okay. Um, I'll say my the best game is Will, just because strategically he created it essentially. The way Will plays the game, minus the evil persona, is standard Big Brother. You do lie. You do make a bunch of alliances but turn on them. You do things to get ahead that you won't do in your normal life, but you'll do them for the game because it's just a game. And on showmances, that's a thing that wasn't a thing until Will and Shannon. There's a lot of comparisons to be made to Will started the ball rolling on a lot of things that just become Big Brother standard. Um, so I got to give that to Will. So Chris, uh, least favorite person of the season. So of our 11 cast members, who did you, as a person or as just a person to watch on television, who did you enjoy the least?
Okay, I mean, if you watch this podcast at all, you know I gotta go with the girl Nicole. I mean, from day one, I mean, I did not like the person she was in the house. I didn't like her complaining and just her natural bitchy attitude. I mean, for lack of a better word, I mean, she was just a crab. She was not fun to be around in the house. And that I don't like her. I wish she would have been kicked out week one. I'm sorry, Nicole, but I didn't like it.
Okay, and now, I mine's probably you probably don't even remember this person was on the show. My
Yeah.
least favorite person was Justin. Because of all 11 people, one, I think his ejection from the house was very just, and it was a little late. It should have been happened earlier than when it did. Two, of the 11 people, 10 of them I would love to have on the podcast. Even someone like Autumn, whose game I don't enjoy, I would love to talk to Autumn about Big Brother 2. I would love to talk to Nicole or Hardy about Big Brother 2. I don't like Justin as a person. I never want Justin on this podcast. I think Justin is a garbage human being and an absolute just stain on society. So that's my thoughts on Justin Sivik. One of the very few Big Brother players I'd say I'd absolutely never give a chance to. Chris, give me your favorite person of the season. Not the best game. Doesn't have to be the same, but who you enjoyed the most. Good.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to choose. I saw a lot more certain people than I did other people, but based on my experience with the show and the way that I assessed every house guest, it was really, really close. And my number two is actually coming on our show tomorrow. But I'm sorry, Bunky. I got to give it to Mike Boogie. He's just, I know people are not going to like him because he is Chilltown and Chilltown's bad. But if you look at who he is without the negative aspects of Chilltown, he's fun, he's cool, he's quirky. And I mean, if you've met me, that's how I tend to be a lot. And it gravitated me more towards his character that he played in the game, which is probably why I like Chilltown so much.
Okay, I think my favorite player, and again, Bill Bunky Miller will be on the podcast tomorrow. I absolutely love, 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 love Bunky. But had to say but. This person, uh, I, I thought on the show was more entertaining. So as a viewer, I was drawn more to this person. And I'm going to have to go ahead and give it, it's the same as my best game. I loved watching Dr. Will on this season because he had fun. Shannon's eviction to the end game.
Yeah.
I loved Will on the show. Mostly because he was a foil to Nicole. If Nicole wasn't there, maybe I wouldn't have liked Will as much. But the fact that Nicole is so far one way
Yeah.
and Will is so far the other way, watching it was great to me. I've gone on record on this podcast multiple times and said if I had to hang out with two people from the house, it would not be Boogie or Will. It would be Bunky and Monica. I think I, as a person, and who my personality traits are, I would get along with Bunky and Monica. But I absolutely loved Will as the evil doctor character on Big Brother 2. I think it was perfect for this show. And what a way to start the strategic gaming that would become Big Brother. So again, Bunky, if you end up listening to this anytime in the future, I love you to death. I think you are
Yeah.
fantastic. It's just I'm he was this great television. And I think that cannot be ignored. So, Chris, who would you like to see play the game again?
If I had to choose from anybody in the house, I mean, it's weird, but for some reason, Hardy. I mean, I feel like if Hardy was given a second chance in the house, he probably could make better his game and maybe string himself along a little more, but he still would. He's a very iffy pick, and the only reason I picked him is because he is able to cling to one of the strongest people in the house, and I feel like that would give him an edge.
Yeah, I 100% would love to see Hardy again too. Yeah, that would be an interesting season to see him come back and try to figure out modern day Survivor, modern day Big Brother. I'm already thinking
Yeah.
tomorrow. Um, so yeah, that was Big Brother 2. Overall, good, bad, ugly. What's Big Brother 2 to you?
Yeah, I mean Big Brother 2 was great. There were like a few moments here and there where I mean, yeah, it was slightly boring to my aspect of television, but I mean every other second was full of action and drama and people doing crazy funny stuff. And I mean, what else is there to life?
All right, so we will be going over again tomorrow after our Bunky interview, which please see that interview. I am absolutely over the wall excited to be conducting
Yes.
that interview. Uh, After that's over, later that evening, probably around midnight, we'll be covering Survivor Borneo premiere. So we're leaving the Big Brother house. We're going to the island of Borneo. 16 contestants. Only one of them will win $1 million. Uh, are you ready? Are you ready to do that, Chris?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready to start a new show and just see a different aspect of this new game show world. And just with watching Big Brother have a new light on a different way you could play. And I did actually play Survivor in a psychology class that I took. And this will give me another way to look at the game.
Yeah, and like as you guys are watching things for the first time, most of this is rewatching for me, but still, it's like with Big Brother 2, I love it to death. But like right at the end, you get the final four on, and it's like, okay, I'm ready to. I've spent this. I've talked about Hardy. I talked about Nicole. I talked about Will. I talked about Monica. I talked about him a lot. Like total hours of this podcast spent talking about the same people. So it's like now we're gonna get 16 new people to talk about, and eventually they're going to dwindle down to a few people to talk about, but it's fresh, it's new, it's exciting. You know, team, for draft pick wise, Kristen came in third. She lost Bunky then Hardy. Then going into the final three, Tequila had both Monica and Nicole. Chris had Will. At the end of the day, Tequila got second. Team Chris won the first draft here on Strategic Gaming. And heading into Borneo, you all four got four players. So, are you? Do you think you have the winner of Borneo in your draft pick?
I mean, I don't know. I fairly well could. I feel very strongly that my players have very good chances on the island, and I'm ready to watch. I'm gonna get very hooked on this show and watch a lot of episodes.
All right, so yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for us today. Chris, if you have trouble getting, try to get CBS All Access. Let me know about that tomorrow. Let me know how that goes for you.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
so yeah, well, tune in tomorrow for that Bunky interview. So excited, and then for our Borneo coverage, we have covered Big Brother 2. It's in the books. We're gonna talk about it a little bit more, but and then I get in future seasons to compare and contrast. Because Big Brother 3, I'm sure we'll talk about comparing and contrasting. So yeah, that's a strategic gaming. Thanks so much, guys.